This presentation will review John Dewey and the progressive movement in American education. My name is Julie Lawrence, and I will be taking you on this journey. John Dewey's theories influenced American education starting in the early 1900s and continues to influence educational experiences today. In the 19th century, many educational experiences focused on rigid, formal instruction and rote memorization. This was a time where America was moving from the agricultural era to the industrial era, and more children were going to schools as opposed to being educated at home. This movement from homeschooling to formal schoolhouse education created opportunities for instructors to transmit or share information with students. One of the parents' concerns at this point, as well as society's concern, was that the character and value development would change. Children needed the character and value development in order to be successful in society. Dewey viewed this problem as an opportunity. He believed that schools could further deepen and develop family values established at home, not necessarily replacing the role of the family as the foundational character developer. John Dewey was born in 1859 and died at the age of 93 in 1952. He is an American educator who's most influenced our thinking about education in this country. His background included philosophy and psychology. His progressive pedagogy of philosophy of education was there to help promote and meet the new dynamic needs of a democratic society. Within his life, there were many accomplishments for John Dewey. He started as an elementary and high school teacher, and then he moved into the level of college faculty. In his time, he started 2 laboratory schools, one at the University of Illinois in 1896, and the second one, the New School for Social Research in 1919. He was the president of the American Psychological Society and the American Philosophical Association. He published over 700 articles and wrote 40 books. Some of his publications included Democracy in Education, Experience in Nature, The Theory of Inquiry. In the over 700 articles, in 140 journals, and 40 books that he wrote, an underlying theme in every piece was that all democratic society comes from informed, engaged inquirers that promote human interest. So he focused very much on how to create and develop inquiry and social skills in order to inform society. Dewey's educational theory included 5 works specifically on education: the Pedagogic Creed, School and Society, The Child in the Curriculum, Democracy in Education, and Experience in Education. Education and learning social interactive processes. The school is a social institution where social reform occurs. Students excel in an environment of experimenting and interacting. Students or children must be active members in their own education. Dewey's belief was that the place to learn the content was at school, but more importantly, children needed to learn how to live life. The goal was realization of their full potential and their ability to use their skills for the greater good. The progressive movement was surrounded by the idea that if we teach today what we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow. So education continues to grow and develop. If we continue to teach what was taught in the past, we aren't necessarily helping students to be able to be creative thinkers and reflectors. The progressive movement included a child-centered focus, an active and interactive element, and the importance of social engagement. While Dewey was promoting the progressive movement in the United States, Maria Montessori and John Piaget were influencing similar movements in Europe. The goal was to develop children to be reflective, active citizens, ready and able to make ethical decisions to drive society. Dewey believed that children learn best by doing, that children needed real-life materials and children needed real-life experiences. The goal at the end of the day is to encourage experimentation and independent thinking. Dewey believed that you didn't have to just teach children the content, but more importantly, you needed to teach them how to get to reflective answers. Dewey's progressive movement theory included socialization, which is where children learn through interactions and cooperation with others. He believed in a child-centered curriculum. This means that the interests of the children is what drives the curriculum. Real experiences is what's necessary. He believed in a lifelong learning, and one of the greatest quotes that he has is that education is not the preparation for life. Education is life itself. Learning is a process of living, not preparing for living. He did strongly believe that schools' work and educational work was to enhance the values learned at home. Values stem from home, family, and community, and the role of the school is to extend those values. Finally, he also focused on shaping society. Teachers nurture inquiry and the desire for learning by supporting students in how to be effective members of society. Teachers create space for students to think reflectively and identify good versus evil and instill ethical decision-making practices. Sampson and Sacken in 2016 really spent a lot of time focusing on that and sharing that. The faculty member's role or the teacher's role is to observe children, to determine what activities will support their learning, to share the knowledge base with children, and to help them make sense of the world. The role of the teacher is to be more consciously competent about the why and what behind the activities that are planned. The important parts of the progressive movement included developing the whole child through well-rounded activities. That child learn best when they can interact with others, working both alone and cooperatively. Children's interests form the basis for that curriculum planning, and education is just a part of life. The goal of the Dewey theory and the progressive movement is to help understand that the education system, that the education opportunities really is about getting into an activity and experimenting and trying. As long as people are alive, they are learning. Teachers must be sensitive to the values and needs of each family member and not only teach the subject, but also how to live in society. As I said before, Dewey had some wonderful thoughts that really went into driving the theories. Education is not preparation for life. Education is life. And education, therefore, is a process of living, not preparing to live. The implications on social justice, again, we visited earlier the movement from agricultural era to industrial era. We discussed the importance of meaningful work drives development, and that character and value development is really at the root of social justice. The social interaction piece is the clue and is the important role in Dewey's theories. Parents at this time, in this time frame, were concerned that children were learning at home by watching meaningful work and helping out. In schools, the focus became on the content. But with Dewey's theory, including the progressive movement, he merged the concepts, including the importance of the social interactive environment with the goals to create reflective thinkers and problem solvers. The move from one-directional teaching to the instructor at the front of the room and rote memorization to teaching through hands-on meaningful work and promote skills useful in society. Again, the goal is to develop individual skills, intelligence, and character that supports the democratic community of citizens that can think, do, and act intelligently and morally, as Tabelli 2015 indicated. Thank you for taking time to view the information about John Dewey's progressive movement. He has provided a lot of knowledge to the background of education systems today that will continue to grow and develop from. Thank you.